here, so I'm doing my math right. I'm not a math major. My definition of entrepreneurship would be Mr. Clark. I mean, that story, I hope you're loading up some questions for him afterwards, because if you're not, I'm going to. But anyway, somehow, my whole thing is, my story is a lot shorter. It's 5 years. In January, I've been an entrepreneur full-time. Started before that doing freelance stuff. But anyway, so when I really thought about what I wanted to share, there's so much rich detail in 37 years of Eskimo Joe's history and everything. Mine's 5, and I got something just, with 5 years, I got to extract out something different. But anyway, so they asked us to talk about our journey. I've counted it up, I've had 13 jobs since I was 16. I'm 36 years old, by the way, so do the math. That's a lot. iThemes is the longest job I've ever had. 4.5 years now, going on 5. But as Mr. Clark said, being an entrepreneur is one of the best jobs I've ever had in my life. I kept switching jobs because I would max them out and just think I'd hit a ceiling or whatever, and I think it's a new adventure. And talked to Mr. Clark before he started. He said, hey, he's talking about his new projects, his promotional things that he's doing, his platform. That was one word I extracted out of your talk. That he still gets energized by the business. It's the best job. If you talk to most entrepreneurs that have been in it as long as me, I think, and certainly as long as Mr. Clark, they'll say the same thing, I think. It just drives you. I love that quote too, 16 hours versus 8 for somebody else. So Lieutenant Governor Lamb mentioned that I'm a tech. My wife calls me a fake geek. I can't program anything in your home, by the way. Sorry, I just back there too. It's good. But anyway, I started out in print, in traditional, I love print. When I was 16, I wrote my first letter to the editor, to the Lone Grove Ledger. Anybody ever heard of Lone Grove? A couple people get. All right, so that's where I hail from. But anyway, that started the love for newspaper journalism. As you know, newspapers now are kind of like dinosaurs. They're getting ready to be extinct pretty fast because they did not transition. So 3 daily newspapers, a sports magazine group. I was art director for Sooners Illustrated, and O State Sports Report, some other ones, 3 nonprofits. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, just like my Papa Leo and my Papa Clyde. Papa Leo still has a motorcycle dealership in Ardmore, Oklahoma. And my Papa Clyde had a minnow business, wholesale minnow bait business. Man, I'm country. But anyway, I rode bikes and fished, and I was a terrible fisher. So I want to get a little bit past some of my stuff, but this is just some of the things So my story starts 6 years ago. I started a professional blog. I took a chance to take my ideas and my thoughts and put them out on the World Wide Web, this thing called the internet. Now, I've had my personal site since 98, 99, and I was doing a humor column. I didn't put that in the notes, but anyway, I was doing a humor column. I hope you don't find those. But anyway, I would post them on the web, and I want to share them with people. And but it wasn't until 6 years ago I really got serious about web stuff, because I love print, love journalism, but the web is just, it's historic what the internet has allowed us to do. Third world countries can sit here and probably stream, if this was streamed today, stream this talk. It's amazing what that has powered to do. And I just saw this cool thing just being developed, when I was growing up, and wanted to be a part of it. So I started this blog, and then I wanted to tweak my blog, so that meant I had to learn code. Now, I was a journalism major. They didn't have swimming management or something like that at UCO. So I got into journalism, but at night, I would try to learn code, and what I mean by code is CSS, and HTML, all that kind of stuff. Now, my geeks back in the office in Edmond will say that Cory's a hack. They keep me away from these things nowadays. But through that, I stumbled into, with this great expansion that reminds me of Oklahoma's early days of this land run, of this unreally settled state of all this opportunity out there. That's the same thing with the web. And when I put my skills out there and started doing stuff, with web design, all this work came in. And so it turned out I was starting to get paid more in my nighttime job when I'd clock out at 5:30 and go home and sit at my kitchen table doing web work, and then my back started hurting because that's stupid. But I'd work until midnight or 1 a.m. on client work, and I started making more money there than that was my day job. And I try to say there's some formula to it, but I was at the right place at the right time, and I was ready. That's some of the things I'll talk about here in a minute. But There's a great part of that is just like you said, your partner Steve saying, hey, this is the idea. Part of it is just dumb luck sometimes, and I'll say that for myself, and the other part is being ready. But anyway, so I realized real quickly that I really wasn't that talented, and so I had to recruit people. I wanted to build something that was bigger than myself, because when you're working 16-hour days essentially at a desk, your back starts to hurt, and mine was really, really hurting. One day, I was like, how old was that? Probably 29, 30 years old, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I was like, this is bad. I've got to figure something out. And that's where what is known now as iThemes kind of came into really started taking shape. And so went full-time with iThemes in 2008. I have 2 partners who helped me get very little seed funding. About $25,000 is how much I got to basically quit my job, go full-time January 1, 2008. iThemes in my home. And actually Papa Leo, the motorcycle dealer owner, when I was like 16 or 17, I just loved being the entrepreneurship lifestyle, what our family was able to have a part of. And I said, Papa, I want to be an entrepreneur. And he said, no. He said, work for somebody else and get this thing called a pension. I don't even know what that is. But anyway, he tried to discourage me. But I kept that in my heart. And so what we do at iThemes, by the way, is we build web design software and tools for web designers. What I was trying to do is create some tool sets that somebody could use to build a business with. Basically sell custom websites to their clients. And so today we have all this, 20 employees. Started in 2008 in my home. I had some contractors that helped me get started, and then we just started growing organically after that. When money came in, we could say, okay, well, maybe next month we'll get the same amount of money and be able to hire somebody. Hundreds of products, thousands of customers all over the world.